kept clicking them, and I'm like, nope, she's not here yet. She's not here yet.
I was trying to get everything set up on my iPad so I didn't have to use my phone.
Oh, that's so perfect. Well, I had to get in my car because my kids took over my life. So here we are. Hey, welcome. I'm Jessica, and this is my good friend,
Mallory Taylor. Hi.
Yay! Oh, I'm so excited we're finally doing this. I think we've probably said that we would do this 100 times, but then we never. I'm sorry, there's a glare. Oh, that's worse. Anyway, so Zoom only gives me 30, like it gives me 40 minutes, but I think that's all we need anyway. But I just want to jump in. So I met you so many years ago when I was putting on Fabulous's events, and yeah, so your mom helped me with my first one. I love her so much. You look amazing, by the way. You look so healthy.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. Get me started on your background, where you were raised, what your life was like, blah, blah, blah.
All right. Well, I was raised here in Arkansas.
What part of Arkansas? Because I live in Massachusetts now, and so you're speaking Spanish to my people.
North Central Arkansas. I live in a small town of like 20,000 people, if that. Very small, very rural. I was raised up in a Christian home. My dad was a youth pastor growing up. So that was kind of my upbringing. Up into my teen years.
Tell us about those crazy teen years.
Oh my gosh. It got pretty wild, honestly. I was kind of, trying to figure out who I was. We moved from the town that I grew up in to a town about 45 minutes out of it.
What age were you during the move?
I was 13.
Oh.
Yeah. 13, about to be 14.
Wow. So that's traumatizing, correct? Like, if I'm not putting words in your mouth, like you're just like small town, set in my ways, 13 years. I'm already having an identity teenage crisis, but let's move to a new town.
I had all my friends, and I had to try to make new ones. So I was in this place of trying to fit in and trying to find a crowd of people that would accept me, because I was, I had a huge identity crisis.
Yeah, for sure.
So I ended up getting with some not the greatest people, I guess. I started partying and, drinking and sneaking out of my house on the weekends. And,
was that kind of immediately after you moved? Like that was just like right then?
Yeah. I started school like right at the beginning of August of 2013. Yeah. And 2013. And so I kind of just dove in head first. Just wanting that acceptance from people, because I was very lonely. And I didn't know how to, I guess, fill that void that I was having.
Yeah, for sure, rightfully so.
So I took on the partying scene.
And how was
all
that?
Through high school.
Like that was just like good. It was all good from the get-go. Like it was all fun and games, or was it like immediately regret?
It was kind of all fun and games at first. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. People wanted to hang out with me, just because like I wanted to get drunk every weekend, and that I spent most of my. It kind of got worse through high school. I started getting into harder stuff, pills and everything, about my sophomore year of high school.
Wow.
I kind of towards the end, I started going to like music festivals and kind of dove into harder drugs than just pills, weed, and alcohol. Okay. And that was kind of my start of addiction, I guess you could say.
Okay.
I was kind of dabbling in it before, but this time I was like, all right, I like this. I like doing this, and this suits me. This fits me well for now.
In general, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of that, now that I'm where I'm at in life, I've looked back and I know a lot of that had to do with certain things that I had been through, and I didn't know how to cope with them. So that's what I turned to, just because it numbed me, and I didn't have to think about it or feel that I'm a huge empath. So I'm a very emotional person, so I feel everything just
hard,
head on.
Feel it all.
It's it can be a lot sometimes, but after that, I struggled really hard in addiction. My parents had no idea that I was to the point of where I was. They knew I was drinking and smoking marijuana here and there, but they had no idea about the pills or anything harder that I was doing. My mom actually told me the other day, she was like, I couldn't tell. She's like, I could not tell. She's like, I knew that you were going through something, but the drug use, I had no idea. And so I did that for a long time. I was probably in active addiction 5 or 6 years. Just battling that, and my walk with God strayed. It was really rocky in high school. Yeah. It strayed really far after that, and I became an atheist.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Like full blown, like this, nobody can tell me anything. He's not real.
Yep.
Wow. What was that like in the middle of your drug addiction? You became that, or just like you?
I had kind of been, I guess, battling with it from high school. I was tired of my parents telling me to go to church. Yeah. At that age of like, don't tell me what to do. Like, I'm grown. I can make my own decisions. Yeah. And I guess things that I went through, I lost 2 friends to suicide, actually 3 friends to suicide during that time.
Yeah, so I saw, I remember, that's really what I wanted to hit on as well. So I'm so glad you're bringing that up, of all the loss that you had continually went through. I guess while you were in open addiction, but it's like, how can one person handle so much loss of people close to them?
Yeah. That's kind of where it hit off for me, with being atheist. Throughout my life, I felt like I was always surrounded by death, and so that weighed very heavy on me. Like I would just question, like, why would God, such a loving man, surround me in such darkness? And if he loved me, why would he put me through that? Right. And so I was like, there's no way, like, absolutely no way that he's real. He's like, I just pushed it all out. And it was very hard living with my parents at the time, because my parents
were with your parents the whole time?
Yes, I was in and out, kind of couch hopping here and there and stuff, but evidently I lived with my parents.
Wow.
And there were a lot of times where, I mean, we just butted heads.
Mm-hmm.
And they soon came to accept that this is what I wanted to believe in.
Wow.
And it was very hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine. I look back now.
Yeah.
But after I lost 3 friends, all a year apart from each other, all to suicide. And that's when I really kind of hit rock bottom. And I was dabbling in anything and everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah, so at that point, you lost these friends to on purpose suicide, but I'm sure you're thinking, well, I don't give a rip if I live or not. Like, let me OD here and make it be better. Like, let me help the pain. The numbness goes to kill me. Like, just take this pain away from me. And I mean, I may be putting words in your mouth, but I'm assuming.
No, you're right on track with that.
Yeah.
There were points in time where I was like, I hope I don't wake up in the morning.
Man.
Like, I'd do a line or I'd eat something or smoke something, and I would do so much of it. I was just at that point of like, man, I don't want to. I'm good. I've lived the life that I've lived, and I'm good. And I lived like that for years.
Wow.
I didn't care about my life. I didn't care about situations I was in. I was facing prison time. I did not care. I told my parents, I was like, if I go, I go. you know. But it was a long road. And I couch hopped a lot. I had this van that I lived out of. My boyfriend and I at the time lived out of for like 3 or so months. I got to the point in my addiction where my mom told me that I couldn't come home unless I was sober. And at that point in time, I didn't understand, because I'm like, I'm your kid, But at the same time, like, now that I look back, I'm like, my mom had to set those boundaries.
Yeah.
And not have that in her home.
For sure.
And I know that it was out of love. And, but that was really hard. I didn't talk to my parents for a while. I was just out and about doing my own thing. I was stealing food. Gas. We stole gas. Was selling drugs so we could
keep doing
have money. Yep.
The cycle continues, right?
And it was just this ongoing thing for so long.
Yeah. So what got you to the end of that? Did you have a moment that I can't keep living like this, or a moment that woke you up to change? Or I love this smile. Like, can we give the smile a moment? Because that smile is like, God save me. Like, I'm like, yes, I love that. Tell me about it.
I was dating someone at the time, and it was someone that I was selling drugs with, and I had caught my drug charges with and going to court with. But he had just gotten out of prison. He did 3 years of prison time for what we had gone to jail for. And when he got out, we decided to date, move in together, and at this point, I was 6 months sober off of pills and like hardcore stuff. So, but I was still drinking and still smoking.
Okay.
But I was working hard on not doing anything hard. And I knew that was going to be a challenge with him,
right,
because he hadn't done anything while he was in prison. So I had a feeling when he got out, he was going to want to just
go at it.
Yeah, jump right back in. And we lived together during this 6 months. And I mean, like, he got out of prison, I moved in with him, and it went from there. I had quit my job that I was at because we were selling so much that we had the money to live off of comfortably. And we, I guess, made a decision to start taking pills again. And I was very iffy about it. And I voiced my, opinions to him about it. And I was like, as long as we can stay over here, that's fine. Like, it'll be all right. And one night we got into a really, really bad fight. And he beat me for 6 hours, on and off, in a 6-hour time frame, in our basement of the house that we were living in. He took my phone. I had no way to contact anyone. I had texted my mom when the argument started getting really bad. I was like, hey, things aren't good. I just want to let you know that things aren't good. And he took my phone. He was texting people off my phone saying, like, don't contact me, that I'm fine. He posted on my Snapchat story that everybody and their mother can see, that I just caught a fade, that he just beat me up. And whoever wants to catch the fade too is more than welcome to. And he was like, no, Mallory is not okay. Like, no, she's not. Like, stop texting her, stop calling her. Like, this is your what is the word I'm looking for? Sign, I guess, that she's not fine. And he knocked me unconscious. He split the back of my ear. I had 4 or 5 stitches in my ear. My ribs were bruised. My shins, arms, I mean, everything you could think of. I had a severe concussion. I couldn't remember anything for like 2 months after the fact. We were probably on about close to 8 to 10 Xanax bars a piece. So you can use your imagination on how that is. But my parents, my mom has my Snapchat. She's added on my Snapchat. And someone had sent it to her. And my parents were out of town at the time. They were in Branson, I think. And they were just like, we gotta go. Like, we gotta get home. And my uncle is, he works for the police department of the town I was living in at the time. It's about 30 minutes outside of where I'm at now. And they called him, and he was not able to personally work the case, because we were related. But he called in a cop friend of his, and told him I don't care about anything else in the house. You just get Mallory out safe.
Mm.
And at this point, me and my boyfriend were both on felony probation. We weren't even supposed to be together.
Right.
And we had, probably close to 10, 15 years worth of stuff in the house that would have put us in prison for a long time.
Wow.
And they came to the house, got us, and took me to the hospital. And they didn't touch a single thing in the house, even though they had every lawful right to.
Right. Wow.
And I came to this moment when he went to jail and my parents and the police friend brought me back to the house so I could pack my stuff. And this, my mom was upstairs and I was downstairs just in the floor, sobbing. And I contemplated taking my life right then and there.
Wow.
My mom came down before I could go through with my decision. And she doesn't know that.
Didn't.
But God will meet you where you're at. And he met me where I was at.
So did you feel like your mom coming down in that moment was the Lord, like in his grace, just coming, embodying and putting his arms around you in that moment?
Yes. Absolutely.
Which she's been that the whole time in different scenarios, but it's so powerful that even in that moment where she probably thought that she had gotten you out and everything was fine, and in that moment she was still being used by God to bring his grace to your life. Because she never gave up. She never gave up hope.
No.
Wow. So what has your journey been after that moment of finding the Lord again, getting sober, I'm hoping cutting people out of your life?
Yes.
You know, that's kind of the key thing. What has that been like?
It's been a hard journey.
Yeah.
But it's been wonderful at the same time. I've done so much in just the last couple of years since that. I will be 4 years sober come November.
Oh my gosh, that seems like a lifetime.
Yeah. I feel like I've lived like 3 years so since
and that's
then.
completely 4 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Like right after I left my boyfriend, I started getting sober.
Wow.
And then I've been, going on 3 years, I think.
That's awesome.
Of no drinking or smoking.
That's awesome.
And then 4 years for everything else.
Wow. So what have you been doing? What does your life look like today? Where do you work? What does that look like?
So I work for a fly fishing manufacturer at the moment, and I've worked for them and with them over the last 4 years. So they've also seen me go through everything.
The healing.
But I am currently, I'm a volunteer mentor for juveniles, for alcohol and substance abuse.
Wow.
And so I'm currently working on that right now and getting hired on through the state to be able to pursue that. And I have an end goal. I want to be a juvenile probation officer.
Wow.
I know that, especially that age group, that's where God's calling me to be. And I have a lot of light and love to share and wisdom and experience. And just let these kids know, like, they're here for a reason and that they are loved.
Tell them about it.
So that's what I'm doing right now and working towards. I'm really excited for it.
Wow.
I know that God's got big plans.
So what would you tell everybody in their say I'm trying to get healed from my past experience. What would you say to them to give them encouragement on how to do that?
Take every day one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time.
Yeah.
It's not going to change overnight. Give yourself some patience.
Yeah.
And grace.
I love that. That's
just
huge.
one step.
Yeah.
Just even if it's like the smallest of steps.
Exactly.
It's a scooch.
Exactly. Forward, right?
Yes.
You're not going backwards. Well, our time's almost over, but I know you've encouraged so many people on their journey of just, the darkness and, being in that spot, but then losing so much, but then still God had never left you in that moment. And just the redemption story of that is so beautiful. And now that you're the ripple effect of, you're using that to help other people. And I think that's key to us staying sober. Like once we have people behind us, we're less likely to go backwards because it's like, no, I have to fight for that person because we'll fight for somebody else before we'll fight for ourselves. So the more people you get behind you that you're inspiring and that you're mentoring, the more it's like, oh my gosh, it makes your purpose, your pain such a purpose. It makes it worth the pain.
Yes. Amen.
But I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your parents. I think it's all been just a testimony of what God can do with a surrendered life every day. And I just think it's awesome.
Thank you. I do too.
Yay! And you look like a different person. It's so crazy to watch and just the transformation. So
thank you. I really appreciate that.
Aw. Well, awesome. Well, I hope you have a good day, and I look forward to hearing from you again.
Yes, I hope you do too. Thank you.
I don't know how to end this. So I'm like, how do I end it? End meeting. Here we are. Okay. Maybe